This is Cairo, this is Cairo, and this is Cairo. We've arrived in the Egyptian capital where we'll be spending 2 days getting to know this multifaceted city. Join us and our amazing tour guide around some of the ancient sites that make Cairo a must-visit destination. So it is the morning of our first full day here in Cairo, and we decided it would be a good idea, in order to get as much sightseeing in as possible, to do a full day private tour, with the first stop being the pyramids, because of course it has to be. But first, time for breakfast. And to top it off, we are sat right along the banks of the Nile. This is very cool. Alright, welcome to the pyramids of Giza. So there are actually 6 pyramids here altogether, but of course there are 3 that are very, very famous. You have the Great Pyramid and then 2 others. The Great Pyramid is obviously the largest one that you see, the most famous one. Then you have 2 more pyramids, and that is for a king and then his son and then his son. And then the 3 other pyramids that are here that you very rarely see photos of are the 3 queen pyramids. So that would be for the original wife and then the daughter, and then I believe one of the mothers as well. So that's what we have here. You can go in some of the pyramids, you can walk up to the pyramids, and yeah, we're just going to do some exploring, and then we're going to go inside the Great Pyramid. So we have just been inside the Great Pyramid. This is the only pyramid where if you go inside, you actually go up instead of down. And it's very tight, very warm. We couldn't take any videos, so we took a few photos, but really cool to do. On this pyramid here, at the very top, you can see some cladding. This is smooth, polished limestone cladding. And that used to cover all 3 of the pyramids. They used to be smooth and shiny and painted with hieroglyphics, and the Great Pyramid also used to have a small golden pyramid on top. But over the years they were stripped down, primarily so they could find the entrances, but also so they could use those materials as supplies for the buildings and the houses in the city. So the cladding is all around, with the exception of that little bit right up the back. Have a look at the size of just one of these blocks. So this is my hand, this is the block. They are absolutely huge. It's amazing that they built with these giant blocks.
As you can see here, this is the Sphinx. It weighs about as much as 50 jumbo jets, but I don't see it taking off anytime soon. And it's the size of a football pitch. And in the background, we've got the Great Pyramid, which was the tallest building structure ever made until the Eiffel Tower was built by the French. Impressive.
We have come even further back in time, and we have come to Saqqara. This is home of a step pyramid, and this is actually the first ever pyramid. It is about 5,000 years old. How amazing is that? So you might not be able to see it in the distance, but from this site you can actually see 2 more of Egypt's 125 pyramids. The one on the left is the bent pyramid, and they obviously made a mistake when they built it, which is how it ended up built. The king was not happy with that, so right next to it on the right hand side they also built the red pyramid. And the king that built these 2 was the father of Khufu, who built the Great Pyramid in Giza. Another thing that makes Saqqara worth the visit is the inside of some of the tombs, which as you can see are covered in hieroglyphics.
These here are hieroglyphics, and they're inscriptions on what to do. And one even shows you how to sacrifice a cow, and other ones show you gifts that you give.
So we are inside a tomb of a princess from the 6th dynasty, and we have some carvings here showing us how they fished, all the different kinds of fish, the hooks that they used to do the fishing. And then over on this wall, this is so cool, it shows someone with back problems seeking out help. They're helping them, and then this is the oils they need to use and how often. So it's basically like an ancient prescription.
After a day full of world wonders, an Egyptian barbecue lunch, and did I mention camels, we headed back to the city to do one more thing.
This is a felucca, and you can use one to take a cruise along the Nile, which is the perfect way to cool down after a very hectic, hot day, and it is so beautiful and peaceful out here.
Well, it's lovely being on the Nile. Hopefully to see a crocodile.
One of our hotel restaurants. We are again sat just beside the Nile. We have gotten ourselves some lovely big pizzas, and this is how we are going to be ending our night, enjoying our 4 cheese pizzas, enjoying the waves next to us, enjoying the party boats that keep cruising along beside us, and then crawling into our bed and enjoying them. Okay guys, before I wrap this vlog up, I just want to say thank you all very much for joining us in this video. And I also just want to talk about our tour a tiny little bit. So we booked our tour with Emo Tours Egypt. We've seen some amazing reviews for them online, so we thought that they would be a good company to go with. We booked a private full day tour that took us to all the sites that you saw, and we paid for the extras like going in the pyramid and doing the felucca ride at the end of the day. And our tour guide was Amir. I'm sure I've butchered that, so apologies, but he was an absolutely amazing tour guide. So I highly recommend using Emo Tours, and I highly recommend asking for him if you can, because he really was an absolutely fantastic tour guide. This is definitely the way that I would recommend seeing the sites in Egypt, particularly in Cairo, because you get all the knowledge. You get driven around in an air-conditioned car, which is perfect. He got us cold water, he got us a falafel sandwich at one point when Euan was getting really hungry, and he also took some amazing Instagram-worthy photos of us, which helped us out massively. It was so nice to have this person here telling us all this information, answering all our questions, and just being there with us the whole time, helping us out every step of the way. And we could not have seen what we saw and learn what we did without having him there with us, basically. So I do highly recommend a guided tour, and I highly recommend doing that through Emo Tours, and I highly recommend getting a good night's sleep and using a lot of sunscreen. Good morning everyone, welcome back to Cairo. So this is our second day in the city, it is our final day in the city, so we are going to try and jam pack it full again. We are mostly recovered from our very exhausting and ferociously hot day yesterday. For the most part, we've avoided sunburn quite well. I kind of had the weirdest sunburn ever. I literally just have it on my hands and one strip on each of my arms, and Euan just has it on the back of his neck, which, considering it is like 40 degrees, the sun is ridiculously hot, we've spent a good amount of time in the desert, I think that's pretty good going for us, because we've burnt in way worse weather than this. So hopefully we can avoid burning any more today, and hopefully we can tick off everything we want to on our list. But first, let's do a little pyramid check. It's about 7 AM right now, so I don't know if it's just going to be way too early. Yeah, it looks like they are still hiding from us. I'm determined to catch them by the end of this trip, but can we just take a moment to enjoy this morning view, a slightly more peaceful taste of Cairo.
The first thing on our itinerary for the day was a morning guided tour of the Khan al-Khalili market, and we were over the moon when we walked out our hotel and we were reunited with our amazing tour guide from the day before. This market is in the heart of Cairo. It has been around since something like 1382, and it truly feels like stepping back in time. It is not only home to shops and stores and souvenirs, but also to many historic and cultural tall buildings. Our tour guide once again did an amazing job of showing us around, and it was so interesting to walk the streets of this market. After a little shopping, he also led us to Al Fishawi, which we were kind of told might be one of the oldest coffee shops in the world, but the internet is telling me it was actually established in 1797 and is only one of the oldest in Cairo. But regardless of how old it might be, this coffee shop was fantastic. It was full of so much character as well as some new friends. Okay, so maybe Euan wouldn't call them friends, but we were here for the coffee anyway, and we were made a deal we couldn't refuse.
You don't like it, you'll not be for it.
Really?
Like it, you'll be for it.
Okay, I'm happy with that. That's a good deal. First ever coffee, the world's oldest coffee shop. Lovely.
Alright, so we have just come back from our morning at the bazaar, and look what finally decided to come out and play. They're way off in the distance, and they're pretty hard to see, but that right there, that is the pyramids of Giza. How amazing to have this view. So it is about 12:30 now. We have been at the hotel just chilling out, refreshing, relaxing, applying more sunscreen for about the last hour. We had a lovely time in the morning in the bazaar. That was a really lovely experience. It was great to go and check it out that way, and I definitely recommend doing that with a guide, because you know, they know all the secrets, they know all the good spots. And we actually had the same guide that we had yesterday, which was so nice. We got along with him really well yesterday. I feel like we exhausted him with all our questions, and it was such a surprise to see him pull up again this morning, so that was really lovely. But now I think we're going to go and do a little bit of independent sightseeing, just actually get out there, stretch our legs, see everything, you know, first hand rather than through a car window. And of course there are just one or two things that we want to do. So we are out on our own, having a little explore of the area around the hotel, and my goodness, it is hot. So we've got the Opera House, we've got a statue, we've got Cairo Tower, and we're going to head over this bridge with these beautiful lions. Okay, of course we couldn't leave Cairo without visiting the Egyptian Museum. Alright, we have a little scavenger list thanks to our tour guide yesterday, so we're going to go and see what we can see. We found something from our scavenger hunt. This is a statue of King Khafra. He is one of the kings that did the pyramids of Giza, and this is actually carved from one of the hardest stones to carve in the world. I think it's the only statue of its kind, and they don't actually know what tools they used to carve it, because it should have needed diamonds. And right there at the back of the head, that's Horus. So not all pieces, but some of them have these little information placards. But what I'm obsessed with is every now and then you come across one of the really old ones like this, and I just love it. It makes me feel like I'm back in, like, I don't know, the 40s or something, visiting Egypt. The Egyptian Museum is home to some amazing and interesting artifacts, but do you know what it isn't home to? Air conditioning. So after a little while of looking around, we decided to head back to our hotel and enjoy our infinity pool. Okay, let's play a game. It's a really easy one. Guess who is starting to feel a bit unwell? It's me. I think it's the heat. I think it's heat exhaustion. But on and off today, I've been feeling a little bit nauseous. And I am tired. But we are trying to power through. It is our last night here in Cairo. We've come back to this beautiful restaurant. We sat by the Nile again, and we're going to enjoy one final meal before we have to do all the boring things like pack to go home. Alright, it is the next morning and it's time for us to say goodbye to Cairo. I am feeling better, thankfully. We are both still a little bit tired, but we managed to catch up on a lot of sleep this morning and just spend some time just enjoying our amazing hotel and amazing hotel room. And it has been, yeah, it's been an amazing trip. It has been a whirlwind of sightseeing and jamming in as much as we can, and
boiling hot, but it has been a lovely, lovely little getaway. So thank you all very much for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more, and hopefully we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.